Hello children, how are you? I hope whatever we have discussed till today, all the concepts are clear to you. Children, if you have any doubt, then ask, क्योंकि जब तक समझ में नहीं आता पिछला, तो नेक्स्ट जो भी हम डिस्कस करने जाते हैं वो भी समझ में नहीं आता, राइट? तो ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि जो भी हम पढ़ चुके हैं वो आप लोगों को क्लियर हो. सो इट इज़ अ रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम माई साइड टू टेक रिविजन्स रेगुलरली. जो भी हम डिस्कस करते हैं, जो भी मैं आपको वीडियो में एक्सप्लेन करती हूँ, ये आपकी तरफ से मुझे रिवर्ट बैक होना चाहिए कि आपने उसे रिवाइज़ किया या नहीं किया. ठीक है? तो आई होप जो मैंने आपको कल समझाया था वो आपको समझ में आया होगा. नाउ चिल्ड्रन, we are going to continue with the next topic. So now that we have got a good amount of idea about the epithelial tissue, and it is a good time that we start with the various type of epithelial tissues. Now there are various type of epithelial tissues which are present, right? How have they classified the epithelial tissue we are talking about? How it is classified? We have classified the epithelial tissue based on the structure of epithelial tissue, right? So children, talking about the classification of epithelial tissue is classified, it categorized based on the structure of epithelial tissue, and broadly it is classified into two types, right? So overall broadly अगर हम बात करते हैं तो एपिथेलियल टिश्यू को एपिथेलियम भी कहते हैं. ठीक है? तो कंफ्यूज मत होना. एपिथेलियल टिश्यू अगर कहीं लिखा है तो वो भी वही है, और अगर एपिथेलियम लिखा है तो वो भी एपिथेलियल टिश्यू ही है. तो ब्रॉडली देयर आर टू इम्पॉर्टेंट क्लासेस, दैट इज सिंपल एपिथेलियम एंड स्ट्रेटिफाइड एपिथेलियम. स्ट्रेटिफाइड को कंपाउंड भी बोला जाता है. ठीक है? So these are the two main classes of the epithelial tissue. So what is simple epithelium? ये simple epithelial tissue क्या है? Right? So simple. It is going to be something simple, right? So simple epithelial means it is only consist of one layer. टिश्यू क्या होता है? सेल का ग्रुप. तो सिंपल एपिथेलियल टिश्यू सेल की, एपिथेलियल सेल की एक सिंगल लेयर होती है, राइट? सिंपल सा स्ट्रक्चर, वेरी सिंपल. सो सिंपल मीन्स सिंगल, अ सिंगल लेयर ऑफ सेल. But wherever we have multiple layer of cell, then we have stratified epithelial, right? अगर एक सिंगल लेयर है तो सिंपल एपिथेलियल टिश्यू, अगर मल्टीपल लेयर है सेल्स की तो वो क्या है? स्ट्रेटिफाइड एपिथेलियल. सो दिस इज एन एपिथेलियल टिश्यू, राइट? सो टिश्यू कंसिस्ट ऑफ सेल्स, and simple epithelial consists of single layer of cell, and stratified epithelium consists of multiple layer of cells, right? Now in simple tissue we have categories as simple squamous epithelium, simple cuboidal epithelium, and simple columnar epithelium, right? अब इसमें एक स्पेशल कैटेगरी है, दैट इज pseudo stratified, जो हम डिस्कस करेंगे. But mainly there are three important types of simple epithelial tissue. Broadly simple epithelial tissue के तीन important types हैं. So these three types are on the basis of shape of their cell. अच्छा बच्चों, हम ये बहुत अच्छी तरीके से जानते हैं कि जब भी किसी चीज़ का क्लासिफिकेशन होता है वो किसी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक के बेसिस पर होता है. जैसे यहाँ पे जो क्लासिफिकेशन हुआ वो हुआ नंबर ऑफ लेयर कितनी प्रेजेंट है, और यहाँ पे जो क्लासिफिकेशन हुआ वो हुआ सेल शेप की बेसिस पर, राइट? सो दीज आर द थ्री इंपॉर्टेंट क्लासेस ऑफ सिंपल एपिथेलियम बेसिस ऑफ द शेप ऑफ द सेल, राइट? So depending upon the shape and size of the cells, they have been categorized in these 3 categories. So similarly, जब हम बात करते हैं stratified epithelial tissue की, तो वो हुआ 3 categories important: stratified squamous epithelium, stratified cuboidal epithelium, stratified columnar epithelium. Special category is the transitional epithelium, which we will discuss, right? और जो stratified columnar epithelium है, इसमें हम इसको pseudo stratified columnar epithelium भी लेकर चलते हैं, right? Now we will discuss about each of them in detail one by one. Okay, so we will start with the first one, that is simple squamous epithelium. Okay, so children, this is the list, and this chart we can say, this table we can say, I also shared with you all in your notes, right? So this is the table, and in this table we have the cells, we have the location of those cells, and we will also discuss about the functions of those cells, right? So now we will start with the first, that is the simple squamous epithelium. Now one interesting thing which we will notice, that each of these type of epithelium are present in specific cases, right? Now we will come to know why a particular type of epithelium is located in particular location. So that way we have a logic behind it, right? So let us start with the simple squamous epithelium. Children, as I said, simple epithelium will always have a single layer, as shown in this figure. It is a single layer of a cell. So it is a single layer of thin and flat plate-like structure. So they are called as squamous. So children, squamous word का जो मतलब होता है, like when we talk about the squamous, the word is squamous. So this word is squamous का मतलब होता है flat, right? Flat like structure. So flattened plate like structure, ये होता है squamous. So it is a very thin layer. So now you have the idea of thickness. इसकी thickness का idea लगा सकते हो. Squamous means flattened. ये thin होते हैं, thick नहीं होते. So this much is the thickness. So thin, flat, plate like structure. So it is look somewhat like this, right? And it is also shown in the figure. So it is a very thin layer of a flat structure, thin structure. Now where do we find these kind of simple squamous epithelium, right? So we will see, but first we will discuss about the characteristics. So in this case, nucleus is flattened and oblong. Children, when we talk about the cell, and as I just mentioned that they are the flat structure. अब जब cell flat होगा तो इसका nucleus कैसा होगा? आपको picture में भी दिख रहा है. Nucleus भी इसके flat और oblong होंगे. So generally nucleus is also of this type of epithelium tissue is flattened, because the cell is also flat, plate-like, right? So since the cells are flat, so the nucleus are also some exist flattened, right? Now talking about their locations, children, they are found in the lining of cavities like mouth, esophagus, heart and lungs. So they are generally found in the linings of these kind of organs. Now the question is, why these thin and flat structures are found in such locations? Thin और flat structure होते हैं. Locations मैंने आपको बताई कि ये lining of cavity like lining of mouth, lining of esophagus, lining of heart, lining of lungs यहाँ present होते हैं. अब सवाल ये हुआ कि ये flat structure, ये thin structure इन्हीं location में क्यों present है? क्योंकि जब मैंने lecture start करा था तो मैंने आपको बताया था कि ये specific type के tissues हैं और specific और particular location में present होते हैं, right? So now if you have a look of these places, I have already talked about, whether it is mouth, esophagus, heart or lung, all these locations, transport of substances takes place through the selectively permeable membrane, right? इन सभी locations में substances का transportation होता है through the semi-permeable membrane. Whether it is mouth, whether it is esophagus, whether it is heart, whether it is lung. Children, in mouth there is intake of food takes place. That means through the membrane transport of substances takes place. अगर मैं बात करती हूँ lungs की, तो absorption of oxygen takes place. So transportation of oxygen takes place through the semi-permeable membrane, right? Now these thin and flat cells, we can say the thin and flat structures will helpful in the transportation of the substances. कैसे? Let us suppose if we have a thick structure like this, right? So if we have a thick structure like this, and you have some substances which have to be transported through the boundaries, right? So these are the substances which have to be transported through the boundaries. And on the other hand, you have a thin structure like this, and in this case you have to transport some substances through this boundary. Got it? So this is scenario 1 and this is scenario 2. Which is easier, do you think? Exactly, second one is easier, because when you want to transfer of material takes place across the boundary, so that should be thin and flat, right? कोई भी substance जब transport करना चाहते हैं तो boundary कैसी होनी चाहिए? thin और flat होनी चाहिए. That makes it better. That is why thin and flat epithelium, that is simple squamous epithelium, is present in locations where transport of substances takes place through the selectively permeable membrane. And I am sure you know what is selectively permeable membrane, because that thing we have studied, because we have spoken about it in detail in the lesson cell, right? In the class 9th lesson cell we have discussed. So selectively permeable means which substances to allow and some substances are not to allow to cross the membrane. So that membrane is selectively permeable membrane. So children, that is all about the simple squamous epithelium, okay? And it is also found in the outer layer of skin, because outer layer of skin is also used to transfer of the material, right? For example, if we pour water, so somewhat happen, it allow some of the material to move inside the skin, right? It offer very little protection and allow passage of the material. Why it offers a little protection? Because children, it is very thin, so that is why it offer a very little protection, because the cells are very delicate, right? So itself the cells are very delicate, it cannot provide much protection. However, it allows the passage of the material. So the passage of the material is the major function of this kind of epithelium, right? Now children, let us talk about the next important type of simple epithelium, that is simple cuboidal epithelium, right? So now we will discuss about this. Now here again the term cuboidal, that tells you about the kind of epithelial. Cuboidal means something in the shape of cube, right? And we all know what is cuboid. हम अच्छी तरीके से जानते हैं cuboidal क्या shape है, क्या structure है, correct? So this is the cube. So it is the single layer of cube shaped cells, right? So it is very clearly visible in this picture that the cell shape is cube shape. It is again simple because it is a single layer. So it is a single layer of cuboidal cells. So that is why it is simple cuboidal epithelial. Where are they found? They found in the lining of kidney tubule and duct of salivary gland, right? So these are the places where the kind of this epithelial tissue found. So if you look at this particular picture, you can get the idea about it, how they look like. So if you see, a small cubes are arranged together in a single layer, right? What is the purpose? I mean, why are they present in the kidney tubule and salivary glands? So there has to be some reasons. क्योंकि मैंने पहले बताया, किसी पर्टिकुलर फंक्शन के कारण ही ये अपनी पर्टिकुलर लोकेशंस में प्रेजेंट होते हैं, राइट? एंड द रीजन इज द काइंड ऑफ epithelium which is present in that particular location is the absorption as well as secretion. So when I talk of secretion, I am talking about the salivary gland, the gland which secretes saliva. So these kind of epithelium are good to absorption. They are good for the absorption, so they can absorb material, and it is also good for the secretion. So when I talk of absorption and secretion, you can think of kidney tubule, because kidney tubule helps in absorption and transportation of the substances which are filtered by the kidney, right? What is the purpose of kidney, children? Kidney actually does filtration, right? It clears out the things, and after the filtration, whatever the substances came out. So kidney tubule actually helps in absorption of the substances, right? Absorption and secretions are the speciality of such kind of epithelium. So that is why they are present in the kidney tubule and the salivary gland. They also provide mechanical support. Now since they are simple cuboidal epithelium, it is little stronger as compared to simple squamous epithelium. So they can provide some support also, right? For example, simple squamous epithelium, it itself very thin and flat structure. That is why not giving much support. But simple cuboidal epithelium, they give some support, क्योंकि ये थोड़ी सी thick हो जाती हैं. Simple squamous की अगर width इतनी है तो क्यूबॉइडल की इतनी होगी. तो जितना प्रोटेक्शन ये दे रहा है, क्योंकि ये ज़्यादा प्रोटेक्शन नहीं दे पाएगा क्योंकि ऑलरेडी थिन होती हैं, तो इनसे ज़्यादा प्रोटेक्शन प्रोवाइड करते हैं क्यूबॉइडल सेल. सो इट ऑफर सम प्रोटेक्शन एंड मोस्टली हेल्पफुल इन सिक्रीशन एंड एब्जॉर्प्शन, एंड दैट इज़ वाई दे आर प्रेजेंट इन सम ऑफ द इम्पॉर्टेंट प्लेसेस. But it gives some protection at least, better than the squamous epithelium, right? How you got to understand how each type of epithelium has a specific function. Like children, simple squamous epithelium, the purpose is to passage the materials, right? Talking about the simple simple cuboidal epithelium tissue, the purpose is the absorption as well as secretion, right? So these are the difference between the squamous epithelium and cuboidal epithelium. Okay, now let us look at the third type, that is simple columnar epithelium. Here again, as the name suggests, it is a single layer, तभी simple है, right? It is a single layer of tall and pillar like structure as shown in this figure. यहाँ पे वर्ड आ जाता है कॉलमनर, और ये जो कॉलमनर वर्ड है ये है रिजेंबल करता है कॉलम से. कॉलम मतलब पिलर लाइक, राइट? सो समथिंग लाइक दिस, समथिंग विच इज टॉल, समथिंग विच इज पिलर लाइक. So these are the single layer of pillar like cells, right? So it is very clearly shown in the picture here. Now children, they offer little more protection as compared to the squamous or cuboidal epithelium. That is quite evident from the structure. Let us suppose if you have an organ like this, right? And you have this epithelium. Now children, because it is tall, it can provide much protection as comparative to squamous and cuboidal epithelium. I will give you a practical example. Suppose you are traveling from one place to another and you have some glass bowls to carry with you. So you would often see your bowls packed in suitcase. You did not place the glass bowls simply inside the suitcase. You generally try to wrap it with some cloth or some tissue or some towel, so that they give some cushiony effect to the glass bowls. Because the glass bowls are very delicate objects, so it can break down any moment. A little bit of pressure, वो नुकसान होगा, right? So in the very similar pattern here, columnar epithelium are the tall cells and they provide more protection, right? तो उसी तरीके से, क्योंकि जिस तरीके से ग्लास बाउल डेलिकेट होते हैं उसी तरीके से हमारे ऑर्गन्स भी डेलिकेट होते हैं. तो ग्लास बाउल को हम रैप करते हैं टॉवल में या न्यूज़पेपर में, उसी तरीके से ये ऑर्गन्स जो होते हैं दे आर रैप्ड विद द कॉलमनर सेल्स, ताकि कुशनी इफेक्ट प्रोवाइड हो, ताकि प्रोटेक्शन प्रोवाइड हो, राइट? सो चिल्ड्रन, स्क्वैमस एपिथेलियल की हमने बात करी तो ये थिन सेल्स होते हैं, नो प्रोटेक्शन इज टू बी प्रोवाइडेड. क्यूबॉइडल जो होते हैं वो थोड़े से थिक हो जाते हैं, सो दे प्रोवाइड लिटिल प्रोटेक्शन. क्यूबॉइडल की अगर हम कॉलमनर की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो ये और ज़्यादा थिकनेस इनकी इंक्रीज हो जाती है, तो दे प्रोवाइड मोर प्रोटेक्शन, राइट? सो इट इज़ ऑल्सो स्पेशलाइज्ड इन सिक्रीशन एंड एब्जॉर्प्शन, राइट? beside the protection, it also specialized in secretion and absorption. ये जो है secretion और absorption, इन दोनों में ये specialized होते हैं. Children, they found in the inner lining of intestine, because in the case of intestine, absorption of nutrients takes place. We are aware, intestine में जितने भी digestive और simple substances होते हैं, they are absorbed by the body, because intestine plays a very important role in digestion, right? So when the food is get digested, what happens? The nutrients, the food has to be absorbed. So during that absorption, the kind of simple columnar epithelium really helps. Also, when I talk about intestine, there is another thing which I want to discuss, that when I talk of intestine, why is it simple columnar epithelium present in this intestine? Because absorption is the only purpose of the intestine. Then why do we need columnar epithelium cells? We could have placed simple cuboidal epithelium also. The thing is that in the case of intestine, we need protection as well, right? Protection और absorption दोनों चाहिए होता है. When you need absorption and secretion along with the protection, then you need simple columnar epithelium, because simple cuboidal epithelium can not give much protection. Now why the intestine need protection? Intestine को protection की क्या ज़रूरत है? Intestine need protection against the undesirable substances, जैसे कि bacteria, because bacteria and some such microbes enter in your intestine, they cause problems to your health, right? So they can cause problem to your health, they can cause problem to your digestion, they can cause problem with the stomach infection, intestinal infection, right? So they can disbalance the body. So that intestine needs protection also. and at the same time intestine needs absorption of the nutrients of the food. So intestine need protection and absorption both. So that is why we have simple columnar epithelium, not the cuboidal epithelium. क्योंकि इंटेस्टाइन में अब क्यूबॉइडल एपिथेलियम जो होता है वो भी सिक्रीशन एब्जॉर्प्शन करता है, कॉलमनर सेल भी सिक्रीशन एब्जॉर्प्शन करते हैं, लेकिन कॉलमनर जो हैं वो प्रोटेक्शन भी करते हैं. अब इंटेस्टाइन एक डेलिकेट पार्ट है क्योंकि बैक्टीरियल इन्फेक्शन का खतरा भी यहाँ पर रहता है, तो उससे प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए ये कॉलमनर सेल ही प्रोवाइड होते हैं इंटेस्टाइन में, राइट. सो व्हेन आई टॉक ऑफ सिंपल कॉलमनर एपिथेलियम, I would also like to talk about a special kind of simple columnar epithelium, which is ciliated columnar epithelium, right? जो columnar epithelium होते हैं वो ciliated columnar epithelium भी होते हैं. So this special type of simple columnar epithelium tissue is mostly present in the respiratory tract, right? Respiratory tract has ciliated simple columnar epithelium. So what is this ciliated columnar epithelium? That means a simple columnar epithelium is there. इस तरीके से simple columnar epithelium होता है, and at the outer surface a hair-like structure is present. तो इस तरीके के जो simple columnar epithelium होते हैं वो ciliated columnar epithelium कहलाते हैं, because the hair-like structure which is known as cilia, they are present on the columnar epithelium, and they are present in the respiratory tract, right? So small hair-like structure which are present at the outer surface of epithelial cell, so that is why they are termed as ciliated epithelium, ciliated columnar epithelium. Now the question is how the cilia help. यहाँ पे cilia का क्या important function है? How this ciliated epithelium actually helps in the respiratory tract. Now children, what happened in the respiratory tract when we breathe in, right, and when we breathe out? This is the respiration, this is the breathing, and there are some slippery fluid like substances are also there which is known as mucus. हमारे respiratory system में mucus present होता है. You would often seen sometimes when you catch cold, what happens? There is a fluid like substance which start flowing from your nose, right? So what is that fluid like substance? I am talking about the fluid like structure which is secreted by the specialized gland which are present in the respiratory tract. Now this fluid like substance is known as mucus. What is the role of mucus? Children, the mucus actually protect the lungs. कैसे? By trapping the materials which is entered when we breathing. जब हम सांस लेते हैं तो कई और undesirable substance भी हमारे respiratory tract में enter करते हैं. वो undesirable substance को trap out कर लेता है ये mucus, right? So if there is nothing to prevent the material inside, every material is moved towards the lungs, then what will happen? That these foreign substances cause damage to lung, right? So this mucus actually block the material from entering into the lungs. Now what happens with the cilia? अब ये cilia का क्या important role है? Like the structure is keep moving. ये जो cilia है ये continuous इनमें movement होता रहता है. As the cilia moves, this movement help to move the mucus and sweep the mucus away from the nostrils, right? In that way it also moves the undesirable substances, right? तो एक तरीके से sweep out कर देता है ये सारे substances को, undesirable substances को, और उनकी entry को block कर देता है, right? So the cilia keep moving and make the way of the movement of the mucus, एक तरीके से sweep out कर देता है mucus को. जैसे sweep करना मतलब झाड़ू लगाना, तो sweep out कर देता है, right? And it also helps block the movement of undesirable substances into our lungs. तो एक तरीके से हमारे रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम को ये हेल्प करता है. सो दिस इज द simple cuboid columnar cells, right? In the next video we will discuss about the stratified epithelium. So I hope you get all the points clearly. Children, still you have any doubt, any query, you can ask me. Just feel free to ask, right? कोई भी doubt हो, कोई भी query हो तो पूछ लेना. So till then, have a nice day. Thank you.